Beautiful day. I want to do an intro video of a little event I'm doing for myself. 3 or 4 times a year for many years prior to this year, I do fasts, 3-day fasts. That's with distilled water prior to this year. So I would just have distilled water for 3 days and then break it with homemade broths and everything else. And I've done videos on it before, but this year, some little change. And the reason I changed it was because I don't drink plain water ever. Water has something in it, and I have a podcast on why I don't do this, but I hydrate through food. So drinking plain water during a fast just didn't feel right to me, to just guzzle plain water. Didn't feel right. It was very unnatural for me. So this year I did research and experimentation with something called dry fasts. No food, no water for 3 days. And they are amazing for me. They make sense. They feel better. They're tougher. I really benefit on the back end better for me. But this time, I've done 3 this year. This time, and always the changing of the seasons. There's the autumnal equinox was last week, and then I went out of town. I was supposed to do it last week. But I'm doing it now. This time I'm doing what's called an absolute dry fast. So no food, no water for 3 days, but no water hits my skin directly. So no showers, no washing of hands, no brushing of teeth, no coffee enemas, no anything. I know I'm absorbing water through the atmosphere and there's grass and stuff, but no direct contact to water. And then what I'm gonna do is Sunday night when I break the fast is plunge into the ocean as my first exposure to water. I'm stoked for that. I'll get into the details of why I do this. I have podcasts on why I do them, and I fully want you to research your own and see what they mean to you, see if it's something you need to experiment with. But I will catch you up on all the details on why I do them Sunday. Right now I'm 17 hours in, feel fantastic. Can't wait to see what's going on next. Body's different every single time. It's pretty freaking rad. And FYI, I don't do them for weight loss or fat loss at all. Stay tuned. Morning. Just going to get some breakfast at my local, oh, that's right. No, I'm not. I'm not eating food. 40 hours in, feel fantastic. Yesterday was interesting, which I will share on Sunday. But yeah, feeling in the words of Simon and Garfunkel, life, I love you, all is groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da. Feel fantastic, actually. Yeah, just got some Omi pets in, trying to avoid the ocean hitting me, as no water's gonna hit me until Sunday night. And I'm gonna nourish myself with some Dr. Cowan YouTube videos on how you can't catch viruses. It's not possible. I urge you to check those out as well. I will be having him on the Instagram Live and podcast. Super honored for that and stoked, as I will learn a lot, as I know you guys will too. Stay tuned, man. Get outside. Eat nourishing food. Break bread with somebody you enjoy. Don't with somebody you don't. Cut out a relationship that doesn't help you, and don't feel bad about it. Sit, breathe, walk, sleep, take a nap under a tree. Read. Have a difficult conversation about shit you've been told you're not supposed to. I'm telling you right now, you want to follow that censored information. It's the healthiest information we got going on right now. Something to keep in mind. All right. Have a great weekend, kids. Just sat and stared at the sun for about 30 minutes. That was a lovely dinner. Amazing, because I bought all my veggies and fruit to break this thing for tomorrow night. I have a whole chicken cooking in the crock pot right now, to which I will take the meat off, throw all the gizzards and everything else and the meat, and the bones and the skin back into the crock pot with a bunch of veggies and make about 6 quarts of homemade bone broth, which is part of how I break fasts as well. So it's getting exciting. I feel great. Still, no food or water has been consumed or has hit my digestive tract, and no water has hit my skin. So we're rocking. This one's actually easier than the last one, which wasn't absolute dry. It was just dry. So 24 more hours. Craving movies. Journey of Natty Gann and Rocky IV popped into my head. So I think that's what I'm going to roll with tonight. Don't ask me why. It's intuition. It's what we go with. See you tomorrow. Rolling on about 62 hours now of no food, no water, and no water hitting my skin. Feel great. Obviously, there's like idle times where you sit and you think about food, but you change your thoughts. I'm also making a bone broth right now, so that's kind of tough that it's cooking in the kitchen, triggering smells that trigger saliva, trigger stomach acids to feast. And I don't get to, or I'm choosing not to. So that's a challenge, but this is all part of a challenge. Something I wanted to share this morning, woke up, just felt kind of vanilla, like right in the middle. Okay, walked outside, got my feet on bare grass for about 10 minutes, stared at the sun through my eyelids for about 10 minutes, listened to the ocean, walked down here, and there was this clear page turning of nourishment where I was satisfied. I was satiate. I was good. Literally felt like I had a meal. And the point of me saying is not to just keep this as your meals, but when we aren't distracted by foods we've been told we need to eat, or foods that we read in a book that some expert suggested worked for him or her, or foods that we've been advertised, tricked into thinking we need. When you clear that away, you become very connected. I'm moving nonstop, like I have to take a piss right now because I'm standing in ants. There's just ants all over the place, so you gotta keep moving. That's why they're here. They're basically like a treadmill. But when you're not distracted by those, you get really in tune intuitively to how you feel when you ground yourself. And I know we hear all the time, especially now that everybody knows about health and everybody's a health coach and everybody's a friggin' guru of some kind. Ground, ground, ground. Yeah, right. But do you get what that is? Besides reading in a book or reading in a paper, because books and papers don't give you what you need to feel it. You need to experience it. All they're writing about is the person's experience. So just go experience it. But when we hug a tree or connect with foliage or ground our feet into sand or dirt or the ocean water or a mountain stream, there is a nourishing component to it besides the electromagnetic shift and the energy exchange and everything else. But that's literally what food is energy, right? When you break it down, assimilate it appropriately, assuming you're digesting well. But when you aren't distracted by those foods or those messages or people suggesting to you what you should do, and you limit yourself and you starve yourself really of those needs you've been told, and then you pull yourself back into it, it is like a holy shit. That's a rush. Like, it's a rush. It's an absolute rush of nourishment. It's a rush of awakening. It's a rush of, you'll feel it. And some of you are so in tune that you could feel it anyway, or you've gotten yourself to feel it, or to think you feel it. But there's something that this was why we were ripe for the taking, for this fake pandemic and whatever else they have planned, is because we've lost intuition. We've lost feel. We've become so inundated with more and more and more, piling on more of what we think we need, that we've lost that feel that we have inside, that nobody knows how to feel anymore. And if you don't know how to feel, you don't know how to heal, truly. And you don't know what you stand for. And things can just be taken away, or you would just give them up because you just don't know what they're worth anymore. And that's one of the big problems why we were ripe for this fake pandemic. It doesn't mean that's the end of it. Just try to get back in touch with your intuition. Try to get back in touch with your feel, with that voice inside of you. And it's real hard when the volume is turned up on everything else around you. So one of the benefits I do fasting for, it's not to live forever or to lose fat. It's that is one of it. And I'll carry on tonight when I jump in the ocean as my first exposure to water, when I break this thing. But if I could make that suggestion to you, try to, one, connect with those places that are in tune with that intuition and that voice, that signal, and that's nature. And then try to connect back into feel. And I like doing it with meditation, breath. Yes, fasting is one of them for me. It could be anything for you. Any one of those 8 essentials. Sitting with a friend that's real close to you. Something. But you got to start feeling again. We got to start connecting with what our intuition is, what we value, what we believe, and what we need. Because then it'll give us a better idea of what we stand for and what we're willing to fight for. So, awakenings, eye openings during this fast. Stay tuned. Get outside today. So I walked down here, just north of Swami's, meditate before I was going to jump in the ocean, and I was so excited to actually jump into water, especially the ocean, and consume water. I had a hard time meditating, so that didn't go too well. But sometimes those meditations are the best meditations. But I'm going to go plunge into the ocean, into water, and water is going to hit my skin for the first time in 72 hours. And I'm fucking stoked. All right, be back shortly. Holy shit. That's all I could say. Holy shit. Almost inebriated. Like almost drunk. Spending 10 minutes in there. Oh my God. There's also something to like breaking this fast with a big part of the nourishment, the reapproaching nourishment and reinstituting nourishment coming from something directly from the earth. Now I'm gonna go home and I'm actually gonna sip about 32 ounces of warm lemon water. But like that water went through a process through a hand. Even fruit off of a tree goes to a farmer or whoever picks it, and then it goes to a distributor and then a grocer, and then like there's too many hands. But the ocean is untapped. It's unfiltered. It's pure. Damn. Like a mountain river or stream or my God, a forest or something. But this is tough to explain. I'm pumped I did it, and I will do it again at the next quarter, winter solstice or whatever the hell it's called. Every changing of a season. Now, to the reasons of why I fast. I've done a podcast on this, and in no way am I telling you to do this. This is not an instructional video series for you to do this. And if any doctor tells you, they're cracked out of their skulls. All we are suggesters and facilitators. That's it. You need to go do research on your own, go dig on your own, go experiment on your own. Yes, we are guides or we're help, but we're like behind you and off to the sides. And if any professional claims himself as a healer, leave their office and never go back, because we don't heal anything. The body does, the person does. We just facilitate or suggest and support, but that's no different than everybody else around you. So everybody's a facilitator and a suggester in your community. But the point of me sharing this is I want to share the biggest reason why I fast, and it has nothing to do with weight loss or fat loss or metabolic or healing of... Because here's the thing. I need a definitive, distinct reason why I would fast versus what's the opposite of fast? Eating clean. Eating. Ingesting food. So for all the reasons people tell you to fast, boost immunity, apoptosis, like cellular breakdown, cellular regeneration, healing of the gut, boosting testosterone, hormone balance, like all these different claims that fasting does, you could put in this column. That's what eating clean does. So there's no difference. So this whole fast, man. It's like boosting a... No. Because you just eat really good and you're gonna get those same benefits. And you eat really gooder and you're gonna get even more benefits. But here's why I fast and why I suggest you either research it, seek it out, test it, try it, is because of this reason right here. When you stare hunger, when you choose hunger, and you can stare food, which is now available at all times around us, 24/7, food or food-like substance, we are not deprived of food. When you can induce hunger by choice, stare food in the face and deny it, it makes making other decisions so much freaking easier. You can literally harness so many other things that you once thought insurmountable. Getting out of that nasty relationship. Trying to choose food from a local farmer. Waking up at a certain time. Reading a little more per day. Meditating a little bit per day. Getting outside. Exposing 80% of your skin to sunlight, natural light. Moving your body more than you're used to. Those types of things become more doable. Plus, not only is that one of the most difficult choices to make, to literally force hunger and deny food, showing that you have control over this, but that's the key, showing that food doesn't control you. Psychologically, it doesn't manipulate you. There's no guilt, there's no shame, because you're controlling it. Far too often, and I'll say this, a happy donut is healthier than a sad salad, meaning our emotional connection to the foods we choose is much greater than the actual food itself. When you fast like this, when you deny yourself these things, you sit and you look at food that once kind of tormented you, or hounded you, or nursed you through that breakup, or that death, or that difficult time, no doubt. But then that dependency on that food for whatever reason, our reasons for it, our injuries, our demons, all that shit, yeah, you just flipped it. And you literally can look at it and be like, I choose when I eat. I choose when I'm hungry. I choose what I eat. I choose where I get it from. I choose how I prepare it. And I value that. And that's important to you. So, if you are dancing with what foods to choose and where to choose them, and I'm just not a diet guy, I fucking hate diets. And I really have a hard time with people that promote diets. Because there is no diet specific for each person. There just isn't one. There's not the diet that's gonna win. It's just not gonna happen. I'm all about intuitive eating styles. Do I do Weston A. Price diet? Weston A. Price isn't a diet. If you say it's a diet, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's principles. There's principles of all these diet fads. They all work. And they're all gonna be different for each person, each day, each week, each month, each year. You can't get locked into a diet because it's unsustainable, unfulfilling, you'll let yourself down, then you'll feel guilty that you left yourself down, the creator of the diet, and you're worse off than you were when you started it. Intuitive nutrition, meaning connecting to what you need, eating when you're hungry, you sense you're hungry, not when somebody tells you you're hungry or when some ad suggests that you're hungry. And you stop when you're full. You know where all your ingredients come from because you're like an intuitive shopper now. And you really give a shit about where your food comes from. Just like I will not eat meat unless I'm like out at a restaurant, rarely, which I rarely go because I just don't hang out with people. I just don't like going out. I'd rather make something at home, but I'm a food snob, meaning I'm a meat snob. I will only get it through a farm that I trust. And if I don't have meat through that farm, I don't get it because it's that valuable to me. And I feel you discover these things when you give yourself the opportunity to take a break from nourishment, take a break from these chains that we have connected to food, to when we're supposed to eat, how much we're supposed to eat, macros and micros and fucking measuring and times. Oh my freaking God. It is not that difficult. I'm telling you, none of those work because there's no freaking way in hell We were meant to measure out our shit that much. There is no way we were designed that way. If we were, we'd have a fucking measuring cup in our little snuff pocket here, or we'd have like a macro guide on our skin. No. No, no, no. But you got to experience those to realize that those don't work. Intuition. Eat when hungry, stop when full, know where your food is coming from a majority of the time. Make everything homemade. Like, be proud of making things homemade. Making your own mayonnaise, make your own ketchup, your own sodas, your own dressings. Preparing your foods so that you know, because you're connecting with that food. That food's becoming a part of your DNA, which will become a part of somebody else's DNA later on. Even if you just decompose in the ground and become somebody else's food. Think about this. That is why I fast. Has nothing to do with longevity. I don't care about how long I live. I want to go to 108, but I want to go out high. If I die tomorrow, I want to go out high and on my terms. I want to transfer over to the higher level peacefully. That is why I fast. I am not telling you to do it. I am suggesting you go research it, or go test it, or go see what it means to you. If it keeps speaking to you, I can't deny things that keep popping up in front of my face, and I will do what I feel and when I feel like it. And when stuff happens, I go and I strike. This is something that I love doing. Was it easy? No, hell no. If it's easy, it doesn't change us, right? And that first night, never before, usually it's day 2. That first night was hell. It was 8 hours of holy shit, but I laid like staring at the wall, feeling my body. I couldn't ignore it. It was talking to me. I literally was thinking about my body, my brain and my organs and my cells as I was feeling this. It was horrendous. Fantastic. It's different every time. That's what I love about it. All right, kids. I'm gonna go fucking eat. I'm first gonna sip lemon water like it's a filet with like aioli, homemade aioli and sauteed asparagus and a monster salad and oh my God. Yeah, it's gonna be this lemon water and citrus. Maybe some Manuka honey, some probiotics if I'm still feeling squirrely, some sauerkraut, and we'll see. I have a method. I also have about 6 quarts of bone broth getting ready to be bottled at home, which I will start either tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on how my body tells me in response. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this. Research it. Go see what it means to you. Adios. You gotta get this. P.S. I'm friggin' drooling. Oh. Over lemon water. Oh. Life's awesome, man.